energy level. So I worked on the
Yo, did
first
you just
and
say, hold
only.
on, right to energy level? This is like because y'all don't have the same level of power that like I can just indiscriminately waste all the power I want and there's just a little fee next to that.
No, no, in sense of, okay, back in 2009, 2010, and 11, this is when wind power was starting to get really big and really starting to be an economic boom and, green energy for the province. And Pauline Marois at that time was really investing in there. So in the Gaspésie, we've seen these wind parks going up all over the place, these wind farms. I was like, I want a piece of this fucking pie. That's our territory. We need this. So worked with the community of Gaspé, my community Gaskabigia, and Listigudge. We all worked together and we put forward and we worked hard as a team, as a unit, as a nation, and we established our own uh, wind park. So it was a $400 million project where we didn't have a fucking pot to piss in. So we had to go out and find business partners from Energex and all of these different big companies, convince them that it was a good investment and that it was going to be beneficial to my community and to your business and that it was good for politics. And I was working with Pauline on this one pretty hard. She's actually not a bad person. I'll give her that. And
you
so we
you might be the
established,
first person I've ever heard be like, I
yeah,
get it.
she's not a bad person. Politics you can't take personally. That's business. And but we established 150 megawatt wind project that's in Gespegawagi now. It's called Miskikujuzen. In our language, it means big wind. And that's generating money now for years. And it's coming back to our community to provide services. That's own source revenues. And you know what's so strong about that? Own source revenues? That means we don't fucking need government. We don't need permission to put money into programs. This is money that we generate ourselves. We see a problem in our community that needs assistance.
And
We
you
take our
and you
fucking money.
established that private outside the government.
Yeah, that is a business corporation. We have our own business corporation for that. And that belongs to the communities. And that generates money for the communities. That generates autonomy for our communities. That gives us peace of mind that we can provide services to our people without the government ever fucking trying to intervene or give us a hard time. And that's where we need to be on every level.
Right. That's a wild thought that y'all. And how long did it take for you to create or to organize $400 million, whatever, of funding?
4 years. It was the last project I worked on. I promised that I wouldn't leave until it was done. And we signed the contract in April of 2013. And I finished my mandate in August 2013. So,
So you were just like done with politics after that. You had your giant
hmm,
giant legacy though, because that's one hell of a legacy.
yeah, there's that. And there's a few other, I was active. I think the things that I'm most proud of, though, were activities that we're doing with the youth in the community. We had invested into community canoes, right? So youth in the community could just come and grab canoes and go canoeing when they wanted. They had tents, they had camping trips available, they had all of these things to keep them busy. Fucking idle hands are the devil's playground, man. If you don't stay busy, you're gonna get in trouble. So
That's
this is what we
facts.
have.
It's
Yeah.
like
So
you gotta have youth centers and programs and opportunities for
gotta be
people to.
active in it. I see too many communities having the fucking places, but not active in them. You can't just have a
Mm.
building and expect that to babysit your kids. You need active people who are going to work with the youth, who care about the youth, and are going to take them and give them some life lessons and some cultural knowledge. It's important.
That is important. I mean, I don't know a lot about how to manage a youth center. I do know it's complicated, but it does require investment and good people that want to be there. Otherwise, it could lead to some bad shit.
Absolutely. And that's why you got to have a close eye on it. You got to have a good team and you got to form it.
So,
You
how
got
do
to form
you.
it.
Okay, that's an interesting point. So, you're running up on a government system. How do you avoid, let's say, the corruption side of things? How do you keep your eye on it? So, I guess on your front, cool, you're not bought, but then you still have this team of people and you have to work with them.
Hold them accountable. That's all. Be truthful. Don't be afraid to say the truth when you're in front of people. One thing people fucking knew in the team that I was with is when it came time to speak to the community, because we had a lot of community meetings. I was very, very adamant about making sure we had community meetings all the time, because I don't want anybody wondering. That's the worst fucking place to be. You need to be able, people need to know what's going on. And if you've got a problem showing your community what you're doing, there's an issue. So I would never do that. And I would tell people, you know what? If you don't come to the community meeting, if you're not sitting up there with me to answer questions and explain what the fuck we're doing, you can rest assured you won't be sitting in that seat very fucking long, you know? And so that's how you get them there. Hold them accountable. And when people want to talk that shady shit, you just say, look, fuck, we'll talk about it in front of everybody. That's all.
And the only way to do this then is to not be bought, because then you have the ability to do it.
The only way. And not just that. I believe we have a lot of people who are not just run off of money. We just need more of them to.
No, but why I say it like that is because I learned a lot about the difference between private and publicly traded companies recently. A private company is accountable to whoever owns the company. So let's say you got a dope ass owner person. Y'all can basically have a carte blanche as long as shit makes money. The second you're publicly traded, you're accountable to stockholders of whatever country you're publicly traded in. And I like my day job's in France. So imagine it's France norms, you know, like, and the thing is when you guys make decisions, the politics you represent, like all the different things, it isn't like you said about what's right or wrong. It boils down to, are the shareholders going to benefit off of the decision that you're making? And that's every decision that you make the second you go public, because the board has to approve shit and the board only cares about that. So private is fascinating to me because in a sense it's ownership in the way that you're describing, and it lets you make decisions, which is why, like, even for my shit, it's going to take me forever to get to where I want, but nobody's paid for it but me. So I can sit here and smoke my weed, talk my shit, and be as whatever I want to be to my benefit or dismay. The only people that will finance me is the people watching and myself. And if they want to donate, cool. But I'm not like, that's not the business model. I have other business models I can do to figure out shit, you know, like that's, right. And I think that allows me to explore truth like this without consequence. Because you could say pretty much whatever you need to say, and I'm like, let's talk. Because this is nifty. Who else is going to tell me about this shit?